Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jay Makinson. Tonight, we go behind the scenes at Peterborough this week. On What's in Bloom, Roger has the perfect houseplant, and if you're thinking of renting a cottage this summer, expert Heather Bayer will tell you what your budget can get you on cottage knowledge. We'll also show you a new invention you're going to wish you'd thought of. But first, Peterborough This Week is a bi-weekly newspaper published on Wednesdays and Fridays and goes out to almost 50,000 homes in the Peterborough area. Established in 1989, the paper employs 175 people at its Peterborough headquarters. This week also has papers in the city of Kawartha Lakes and Brock Township. We caught up with Editor-in-Chief Lois Tuffin today to get the inside scoop. So, Lois, pretty busy day here at This Week.
Well, we're putting out tomorrow's newspaper, so there's a lot going on. The federal budget was yesterday. We've got all kinds of other news stories we're trying to catch up on since Friday's edition.
Right.
Put a lot of it online, but today we're trying to get it all in the paper and make it all look wonderful for our readers.
Right, so we're in the newsroom right now. How many reporters have you got on staff?
Well, today we got 3 reporters that actually go out and report on the stories. We have a full-time photographer as well, Lance Anderson. Our news editor, Mike Lacey, is working on the pages as we speak. And Paul Rellinger's over there doing our online edition. So we've got all kinds of bodies doing all kinds of different things. So,
right.
Yeah, it's a busy spot.
That's really interesting because you publish twice a week the paper,
yes.
But online is every day, right? How does that change the whole deadline thing for your newsroom?
Well, it means your deadlines are like 15 minutes after you get back in the building, pretty much. Because it used to be you could come in and you had to file certain days, you had to have everything written, but now it's how fast can we get it? Even if it's just part of it, and we can update it all the time. So somebody calls you back, something new happens, you can just fold it right in with the mix, and people can get their news fast.
Right,
so,
which is amazing. So it's immediate. You don't have to wait around
It's
to get
fun for us, because we'd hear stuff on the radio, or we'd see it on CHEX, and we'd say, we know that, but we can't tell people we know it. Well, now we can let people know that we know it. So that's really cool for us. It really gets us motivated and do all kinds of fun stuff. And we still do that fun feature stuff too, the Peter bios that people love to read.
Yes.
Those kinds of longer pieces that tell you more about the behind-the-scenes stuff that people really enjoy as well.
So how do you get the news? How do you find out about stuff?
We have
all your trade
networks.
secrets.
We have networks everywhere. A lot of us have been here a few years, and we know people in the community that call us up and tell us what's going on. But there's always sitting at City Hall, there's going to the police station, there's Trent University issuing press releases. But the really good stuff comes from the people who read the paper and say, I know somebody who's really interesting. You should go talk to that person. Or this happened to me and I'm frustrated. Can you help me? And those are the really neat stories that add that human element that make news really interesting. Because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah,
telling people stories.
So what is the deadline, besides the online thing, if you have one of these stories, how long does a reporter typically have to write one of these Peter bios or something like that?
Oh, that's a special crafted thing. We give people extra time for those because they're in depth, and we want people to really tell a story about that span years and years. So we give them, I would say, an hour to a couple hours to really craft that kind of work. Typical news story, man. I hope in 20 minutes you can kind of bang it out.
Right. And how do you, what's the process? So the reporter writes the story, you get the photos or whatever. Does somebody have to go over it and make sure everything's right? Do you have fact checkers and all that kind of stuff too?
Well, not so much fact checkers. Mike Lacey and Paul Rellinger do the editing for the stories, so they kind of make sure everything flows and everything is right because they've been here and they've been reporters here, and they put it all together. And out it goes.
I'm sure they know the city inside and out, so don't worry about that. That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess coming up next, we're going to take a tour to the...
We're going to go downstairs, see the magic land where the Canadian Tire flyer comes from.
Very exciting.
It is. It's cool. There's a man in the city that's not going, oh.
Well, if you're anything like me, opening the paper to find a bunch of shiny, colorful sale flyers is like Christmas morning. The paper depends on about 100 workers to get those inserts into every edition of This Week. With almost 2 million flyers to sort and bundle, employees in the warehouse certainly have their work cut out for them. Tracy, we're here in the very noisy warehouse. Tell me what you guys are doing here.
We are actually working on Wednesday edition of Peterborough This Week. We are inserting all the flyers that the advertisers have ordered, and we're going to get them where they want to go.
So how many flyers are we talking? It's really busy.
This week we're actually going to hit almost 2 million flyers over the whole week, which is Kawartha Lakes, Brock Citizen, and Peterborough this week.
Okay, so you've got machines and you've got people,
Yep.
right? So tell me, the machines back there, how many flyers are they able to insert into each paper?
We have a 4-station machine, which is running about 6,000 packages an hour, which is actually 24,000 flyers, because it runs on 4 stations. We also have an 8-station machine, which runs a little bit slower, so we get about 40,000 an hour out of it. The room averages about 1,350 flyers per hour, although we have some peaking people that can do up to 4,000. So
you guys are fast.
They're very fast. We usually try and stay out of the way. The guys get going with their cages and the ladies with their flyers, and they work. They want to get out of here. They want to get it done fast.
So today we're just working on Wednesday's paper, but you were telling me Friday, I guess, is just crazy.
Friday can be a little bit chaotic because we have 2 editions in here. We have Kawartha Lakes this week, and we have Peterborough this week, and the Brock Citizen. We've actually got the warehouse divided into 2 rooms so that we can keep the papers separate so we don't screw anything up.
Good. It's always a good thing.
Yeah. But it gets very busy. We get flyers coming in from all sorts of different sources, and we have to keep everything organized and straight. It gets booked, and because we're route specific, we can target specific areas. It's very important that we keep everything separated and isolated.
So you know where some of these papers are going to specific areas. We have to keep track of all of that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we know exactly. Specific carriers, specific routes get specific flyers.
Now, you were telling me that I guess some of this flyer information is really like it's embargoed, right? Some of the people in here can't tell anyone what's in the flyers.
Yeah, it's actually pretty important to some of our advertisers that their information not get out ahead of time. At Christmas time, especially for the Boxing Day sales, we actually promise and sign off waivers that no information will leave these doors until it's time.
So by the end of today, they'll all be done?
No, actually, the packages of flyers will be done today. Tomorrow morning, very early at 4 o'clock in the morning, the papers themselves will arrive. And then all of these packages that they're working on today will have to be inserted right into the papers themselves.
Okay.
And then rebundled again to go to the carriers. The drivers will be waiting outside in the parking lot to pick up the papers and go as they're coming off the line.
Wow, and everybody does that as well. So that's their sort of, so I guess nobody in here probably looks forward to like Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
They enjoy themselves. We try to make it a lot of fun here. We bring in treats and lunches, and we do a little contest, anything we can do to keep spirits up. But it's a really good bunch of people here. I'm loving it.
Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for this tour, and I'm going to go get a peek at what's coming up on sale tomorrow.
All right.
Is that okay?
Well, just don't tell anybody.
Okay. Welcome back. Aside from publishing a newspaper twice a week, Peterborough this week also prints other materials, including magazines and phone books. All right, so Adam, it's not just newspapers that you guys print up here. Tell me about these things.
We do a number of specialty products, magazines, Kawartha Guide, the Kawarthan, which is a cottage magazine, Primetime, Forever Young, which is aimed at seniors, Getaway Guides, Waterway Safety. So we do a number of magazines as well as phone books. We also have a division called SSD, which is signed, sealed, delivered. That's actually a direct mail piece of our business. So we offer a lot of things that aren't just newspaper.
Right. So how do you get this stuff?
A number of products we look at and find a niche in the market. The phone books, we do a large print phone book, which made sense for our market, just simply demographics.
Right.
The rest of the products, the Kawarthan and the Kawartha Guide, again, we're kind of the Muskokas, the next Muskokas, being in the Kawarthas, so that made sense.
Now, editorial-wise, does this stuff come from the people who work here, or is it sort of from other places?
The majority of the stuff that you'll find in these magazines is local and done by the staff here at Peterborough this week. Forever Young, we do get some copy from our sister company that's a franchise. The rest of it, the phone books, we buy our data from the incumbent.
Right.
Everything else is pretty much done in-house.
Wow. So how long does it take to put something like this together? How about the phone book? That seems like it would take a lot of work.
It's a lengthy project. It takes roughly, we canvas for about 6 months, and it takes about a month and a half to put out, as far as, from the time you finish selling the last ad till the time that it ships out the door. and it's roughly about a month at the printer.
Okay, so how many people that work at This Week are dedicated to doing this kind of stuff?
In phone books, there's 9. In special projects, there's another 6. And then some of our graphic artists actually do the newspaper and this product. So they kind of do this stuff, you know, on non-paper days.
Right. So it's part of the advertising department. Yep. That's great. And it goes out inside the newspaper, or do people pick it up elsewhere?
Some of them are box drops. Some of them are target marketed. Some of them are mass distribution through the newspaper. It really depends on the product.
All right. So if anybody's getting waterway safety this summer or the getaway guide, you know where it comes from now.
That's right.
That's great. Thanks so much, Adam.
No problem.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. Newswatch at 6 with Sean Suiters and Carrie Ferguson is coming up next.